Alright, hi everyone, this is ET Boost. You're now listening to Project Happy. We're your hosts. I'm Hira.
I'm Harsha.
And today's topic is, well, we're going to be talking about internal and versus external happiness.
Now, you might be thinking, what exactly is internal and external happiness? So we'll start off with the external part. And if the name doesn't give it away, external happiness is basically when your happiness depends on external factors like people, events, food, and all that kind of stuff.
So when we depend on external factors, like it's the simple stuff that we aren't aware that we're depending on, like meals. For example, for me, food is a very important topic. And I start my day like most people, not with coffee, but with some chocolate drink. And most people depend on that to make them happy every day. So when the drink turns out not all right, then they're like, okay, my rest of my day is doomed and I'm not going to be happy anymore. So that's what we mean by external happiness. The thing about external happiness is, as easy as it comes, it's also quite easy to go. Because when that particular thing or person does not conform to what you expect them to, you don't become happy.
So when you have all these expectations and conditions for your happiness, it can be a little tricky to be happy exactly. So, here's the thing. Happiness should depend on you, right? It's your happiness. So when you give control of your happiness to all these external factors, your happiness can really be inconsistent. Like if you're one of these people who like breakfast in the morning and you have a certain specific breakfast that you take, like nasi lemak, maybe it's pizza, pancakes, whatever it is your preferred breakfast choice. And for one day, just one day, your breakfast tastes absolutely horrible. Your whole day might end up being ruined. Why? Because you expected your breakfast to be perfect, and since that expectation didn't happen, your happiness, an external factor, makes you really, really unhappy for the rest of your day.
The thing about external happiness is you're putting your happiness into something else or somebody else. And the thing about expectation is this. One, they don't actually know you have expectations. None of us can actually read minds, so that's why we don't conform to it. Second, we might not want to conform to it. Just because I think you should behave this way doesn't mean you have to. It may not make you happy, so at the end of the day, your happiness depends on you, not what other people think. That's why setting expectations is not the best thing to do. So when someone does not conform to what you do, then you're like, oh, I'm not happy now. You have to make me happy. Nobody makes you happy. You make yourself happy.
So, time for an example about external happiness. So, one thing which I rely on to keep me happy externally is actually things like movies and books and everything. And I used to do this where I would get so engulfed in a book or a movie that I would just live in that world. And as much as many people love doing that, and I used to love doing that myself, it's another form of external happiness because you are depending your happiness based on what happens in this fictional world which you have no control over. So if someone dies in your book, you feel really sad. If someone achieves their quest, you feel happy. But that's not really you, am I right?
And the thing about this, for me, external happiness comes with food. When I have good food, I become really happy and my cravings are satisfied. That's awesome. But what happens when my cravings aren't satisfied? I wouldn't say I'm grumpy, but I'm not happy about it and I need to get my way in order for me to continue doing work. That shouldn't be the case when it's something that makes you happy, right? If you don't get it, you should still be able to be happy, but apparently not. That's why external happiness is not really the best thing. But not only is it like short term, it also, when you don't have it, you tend to like blame others or get yourself into situations that you shouldn't be in if you're supposed to be happy, right?
The same thing goes when you put your happiness into people, how you expect them to behave. Like, if you just wake up one day and you see this person that you're talking to is being extraordinarily grumpy or mean, and you're just like, what? Why? And your whole day becomes affected because that person is mad at you, because that person, your source of happiness, is now doing the exact opposite to you.
And that's the thing, because one of the other reasons, like I said, we can't read minds, right? So when we see this other person grumpy, we assume, oh, it's our fault. So we start feeling guilty, we start overthinking, and that also makes us unhappy. That's why we say, do not set expectations. Neither should you let your senses look at someone and be like, hey, you look unhappy, it's my fault. Because if you do it that way and you start overthinking, you take a lot of responsibility that's not actually yours. So that's the thing. Happiness depends on yourself. Do not overthink and feel guilty unless you talk to someone. If someone looks unhappy with you, it may not actually be you. Turns out they may be already happy and your day is spoiled because you overthink.
And the thing about external happiness is it's pretty inconsistent. So like, oh, you're happy because of this thing right now, but something else makes you sad later, so your happiness goes again. So it's not really the best thing, not the best way to be happy.
So what is the best way to be happy? What about internal happiness?
Yep, internal happiness. When happiness is generated by you, when you are the cause of your own happiness.
Well, we'll talk more about that right after the break.